Hello guys, in today's video we are creating together this custom letter A logo design you see right here, and we're using the software Affinity Designer version 2 to do so. I've already prepared a clean artboard for our designing process, and for this logo design I've used the triangle shape as a basic shape as our starting point, and therefore we need to start with the triangle tool we find on the left side of our overview right here. If it's not pre-selected, you can click on this little arrow icon and you can choose triangle tool to select it. By having snapping activated at the top right here, we can easily find the middle of our clean canvas, and then I'm using Shift and Command, holding Shift and Command to create the triangle. By holding Shift, we are keeping the proportions. By holding Command, we are sizing from the middle to the outside. So the difference is, if we are only holding Shift, we are sizing like this. That way it's already centered in the middle of our artboard. And we can then give it a little fill color so we can see the triangle above our background. The next step is using the pen tool we find right here. You can also use the shortcut P on our keyboard to select it, and then selecting those two corners and using the move tool to move it a little bit above, something like this. And then we can go to swatches and can give the stroke a fill by selecting this little icon and clicking on black. And we can also make the stroke a little bit bigger by going right here and clicking 1 PT, so we can then see it better. I'm zooming in using Command plus, and our next step is duplicating the stroke by selecting it. Duplicate using Command J, and we can then hold down Shift and using the arrow keys to jump or move our stroke in 10 pixel steps, and we're using something like 180. I think looks good. We can of course adjust this anytime we want to, and also for the other side, selecting, making it a little bit bigger, and duplicating using Command J and moving to the left again with Shift and the arrow keys, and we have 180 as well. Let me check, we had 180. Yes, perfect. I think we will make it a bit bigger, maybe 190. Yes, that looks good. And what we also do is adjust the proportions a little bit, so select everything and moving a little bit to the top, because I like this look a little bit more than the standard proportion look of the triangle. And that's our starting point. We now need a nice angle for our bottom part right here. And we're using the pen tool again, clicking right here, and then maybe moving somewhere like this, for example. We can use our node tool right here, or clicking A on our keyboard to adjust, clicking on this node, and we can then move it and adjust our angle we have selected, maybe something like this, a little bit to the top. This looks good, I think. And we are then selecting this one again, selecting both nodes and moving right here, selecting this stroke, this triangle again. So we now snap and select again with the node tool, and we can now snap right here and click on the move tool and make this even bigger. So we now have our shape at the bottom. Before we move on, I want to quickly share my new Gumroad store, where you find my Affinity Designer course, as well as wallpaper packs and logo templates I'm selling with commercial license. And with the code NEW50, you also get a 50% discount till September 1st of 2025. You find my store link in the description down underneath this video, or you can directly type in my store address, which is odist.gumroad.com. Alright, now let's jump back to the logo. We are duplicating this one again using Command J and moving somewhere to the top, maybe like this. We can make it bigger. We now need to get the same size we have on those outside blocks of our A, we are using the measure tool right here, clicking right here and holding down Shift for a perfect 45-degree movement to the next stroke. And we see we have 166 pixels distance between those two strokes. So we now need to get it the same distance for this stroke. So we're duplicating using Command J and moving to the top. First, we're doing so till we think we have the size and we can then adjust. So maybe a little bit more, something like this. And then again, using the measure tool, and we are close, 158. So about 6 to 10 more to the bottom, to the top. So maybe like this. And we have one more to the top. And now the distance should be nearly the same. This is perfect. The next step is adjusting the top part of our A to look a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more aggressive, like I did right here. And therefore we are clicking on those two strokes, so we make sure that we snap with our pen tool and then select the pen tool right here, clicking, and we're holding down Shift to move in a straight line. By holding down Shift, we can go in 45-degree angles, and we want to make a straight line to the left, something like this, and keep holding down Shift to make a 45-degree line to the bottom, so to the right side, something like this. And that way we have formed our top part, which gives it a little bit more of a dynamic and aggressive, sharp feeling, which I kind of like. And next step is adjusting this edge at the end, so it makes it a little bit more asymmetric, which also fits well with this design concept. And therefore we are duplicating this one using Command J, and we are flipping it upside down using Transform. And then we are selecting the nodes and we are trying to snap right here and using the Move tool to cross those two strokes that way. This looks good. So the next step is making those cutouts, so those distance between this stroke and this part, which we then can color, for example. So we're grabbing this stroke again, duplicating and moving to the top, like something like 30. Also this one, duplicating and to the bottom, something like 30 pixels. And then we can cut out everything using the Shape Builder tool. There's only one more thing we need to do before we start, is making this one not as big as this one, so not a little bit more to the top. Therefore I'm using the pen tool and go something like here and hold down Shift to the right. And now we've formed all parts we need. We can select everything with the Move tool, and our next step is selecting the Shape Builder. We find right here in our tools, I think, where is it? Let me check. I'm always using the shortcut for it. Right here it is. So you can also use the shortcut on your keyboard, and then make sure to select plus. So we are combining those areas to create a new object. So we're starting with this one and to the top and this little corner and this part, and also separate this part. We can then go with the Move tool again. We can select those two right here in our layers, move them outside and select everything else and click backspace to delete. Again, selecting all of this and moving in the middle of our document. I'm now removing the stroke by going to color or swatches, selecting the stroke color and going opacity 100%. So setting a no fill right here. Or we could also go, if there was a color with opacity and 0. But of course, the better way is to simply deselect the fill like this, and we can then change the colors. For the main color, I've chosen nearly a black color, which I will grab right here using the color picker, and then of course selecting the fill, click right here, and we now have this nearly black color filled. And this is the hex code. If you want to use the same color, it's 6 times 1. And for the orange, I've chosen this one. We are using the color picker again and clicking right here. And now we have our logo type finished. We can make some more adjustments to it. Of course, we can adjust with the node tool right here how sharp this is. So for example, that way. We can then also adjust our bottom left part by selecting with the node tool again and maybe making it a little bit more sharp or less sharp. Or we could also grab the same with the pen tool, the same stroke we've used right here, flipping it and then snapping again and adjusting right here like this. There's also a possibility to this, holding down Shift for moving the same direction like before, so keeping this line straight. And we could also, for example, adjust this one more to the bottom side, something like this, but I will go with this one a little bit less, something like this looks cool, I think, removing this one. And that way we are finished with our logo design. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.